In this activity, we're going to continue on talking about zones in our DNS environment, except in this case, instead of using a primary zone, we are going to use a secondary zone and then configure transfers of that zone from one server to another. So let's check it out. Here I am logged in as the administrator on server SA1, as well as having DNS up and running. And I'm logged in as the administrator on server DC1 with DNS Manager up and running. What I want to do is from server DC1, I have the az800.corp zone, and is a primary zone here on DC1. I want to make a read-only copy of that over here to server SA1, or a secondary zone of that on SA1. So let's try that. On server SA1, underneath forward lookup zones, I'm going to right-click and say New Zone. And in the New Zone wizard, I'm just going to specify that I want a secondary zone, and this will be a copy that exists on another server. So next, the zone I want to copy, az800.corp. And then I specify where is the master DNS server, or where is the primary zone. Well, the primary zone is on server DC1, and that IP address is 10.99.0.220. And when I press enter, it says attempting to resolve, and that will resolve on its own. I don't need to wait for it. I can go ahead and click next. And then finish. At this point, server SA1 is ready to operate as a secondary server or a secondary zone for the az800.corp domain. However, the primary server DC1 is not yet permitting that. So it's set up on one half of it, but the other half hasn't yet set it up. So to do that, I'm going to come back to server DC1, and I'm going to right click on az800.corp and go to properties. For this, I need to do two different steps. First off, under name servers, I need to add SA1 as a name server. And then under zone transfers, I need to enable zone transfers to SA1. Let's go ahead and do that. Under name servers, I'm going to click add. And then for the name, I'm going to go ahead and type in server SA1. And the IP address, this is where there is a typo in the book. We have to type in the correct IP address for server SA1, which is 10.99.0.203, and press enter. Again, this gives me a warning here. I can safely ignore this and apply. When I go back in and edit, it should eventually self-resolve. So we've set up server SA1 as an additional server. Then I go to zone transfers, and I want to allow zone transfers. And I could say any server, only specific IP addresses or servers, or all the servers that are in my servers tab. That one right there gives all my name servers that I have access to it, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Additionally, I have a notify option, and this will proactively notify servers when a change has been made. And I'm going to, under IP address, type in the correct IP for server SA1, 10.99.0.203, enter, OK, and OK. At this point, server DC1 is ready to share its zone, and server SA1 is ready to copy the zone. What I can do here on SA1, I could try to refresh, and I believe this is going to fail, but I'll click on az800.corp, and I still get a warning. This will automatically refresh after about 10 or 15 minutes. I don't want to wait that long. I'm going to right click on az800 and say transfer from master. So this will force a transfer of the zone from the master server. And now when I click refresh, refresh, AZ800, it should pop right up. Let's try that again. There are two options, transfer and transfer. I'll try transfer new. Refresh. And it should be working. All right, I paused the video there to see what was going on, and I see I made a typo. If I come back to AZ800, right click and go to properties, I see right here I have a typo. I did the wrong IP address. So let's edit that again. That should be 10.99, not 19. And OK. And OK. And now I will right click, transfer from master. Refused. And there we have it. So once we get the IP addresses up and running and then grant permissions on both sides, then the zone has transferred over. At this point, I have a copy of the AZ800.corp. I cannot create new records at this point, not for the AZ800, not from SA1. I can create new records in DC1, new host, alias, MX, and so on. So the primary, I can make changes. The secondary is read only.